Well, hello there, YouTube, and welcome back to Crusader Kings 3, House of Mordecius. Thank you so much for joining us. If you like this video, please make sure to like it, and please make sure to comment. Let me know what you think of Crusader Kings 3, and make sure to subscribe so that you get notified every time I upload a new video. We're coming in hot on the last day of 893 AD, and 894 is just around the corner. We're going to unpause here just a second. Just as a heads up, if you've never watched this series, basically the gist of it is that I am trying to, starting from this little tiny county here at the southern tip of Ireland, trying to take over all of Ireland, possibly even expanding out to taking over the rest of the UK, and maybe at some point we can get to the rest of the world and just perform utter world domination. But that's all kind of in the future. For right now, the big kind of hiccup in the plan is that our main character, the first, character that has sort of been with us from the beginning, Drognath I, he is basically on the verge of death. He has consumption and will almost certainly be dying here fairly soon. And what I think I want to do, for basically the rest of Drognath the I's life is we're gonna let him rest. We're not gonna declare any war, or at least not go seeking war out in any fashion like that. We're gonna be saving up gold for the continued hunt of his mortal nemesis, the legendary albino boar, or whatever it is that we want to hunt, but we need more gold to do that. So what we're going to do is basically just hit play here on 894 AD and just kind of see what happens, and let time pass, and let Drognath I kind of rest. And if we get enough gold for a hunt, then so be it. We will take him out for one more spin, but other than that, we're just gonna basically let him rest. And High Chiefess Sierra is bearing our child. Somehow, once again, we are in danger of adding yet another member to the royal family. Lucia comes of age. I am proud to see my daughter no longer as a child, but as an adult. Despite being a chatty child, Lucia at times finds it difficult to get along with people. Few at any court would be overly impressed by her grasp of etiquette, but at least she does know how to hold her own in polite company. So Lucia gains the trait Adequate Bargainer. I want to take a look at, or maybe I'll just X out of this really quick. There we go. I kind of want to take a look at our family line here, just from going from oldest to youngest. We'll be skipping over the many children who have died thus far. Almost, probably most tragically our son Rodan, who died at the age of 16 after being executed by our enemy in a war. So obviously first and most important is our boy Drognath II. Drognath II is our oldest son at the age of 23. He is our vassal. He controls sort of this chunk of land here at the northern end of Ireland, and he seems like a great dude. He's got a 16 in diplomacy. He's I think fairly well liked. But yeah, he's sort of the oldest in this kind of lineup of siblings, of the oldest siblings that we have. This is also his wife, Chiefess Afric Nicflansina of Ulster, at the age of 24. Next in line is our daughter Eugenia Nic Drognath, married to Mael Sierin MacAid Eilpen, High Chieftain Brandub's tutor. I didn't know that. Very interesting. But yeah, she's the eldest daughter. She's got a 12 in learning, which is pretty dang good. A 0 in intrigue. And then moving on down the line here, we have Tomas, who has most recently been sent to the clergy in order to become a man of God. Tomas is sterile, which I guess if he's part of the clergy, it won't matter too much. But yeah, my man Tomas is in fact a monk at the age of 17. Continuing on down the line here, we have Constance MacDrognath at the age of 16, also a monk. And then of course we have Lucia, who just came of age at the age of 16. So these are the oldest children that we have. These are kind of among the higher strata, I guess, of amongst our children. She is also King Niall's hostage, the King of Alba. And these are the children who are going to essentially inherit the things that we pass on. And as we approach the end of Drognath I's life, they'll probably end up being sort of bigger key characters when Drognath II becomes sort of our main character. My daughter Lucia, sent away to be a Alban hostage, will at last returned a grown woman. The pact with King Niall is ended, but my daughter is safe. There is so much to catch up on. So us and King Niall, we may freely attack one another now that Lucia is no longer a hostage. Let's just take a look really quick. Once again, I don't think that I will be declaring war on our boy. Oh, he's not really our boy, but, well, actually, you know, again, I'm not interested in declaring war with Drognath II being this old, but Alba actually might have a tough time trying to stand up against us at this point. We have taken a significant amount of land, we have a fairly strong army, and a fairly powerful ally in the form of High Chieftain Brandub. It actually might not be like a total wipeout if Alba was to come attack, so I don't think we'll be offering the King of Alba any hostages. Oh, and I totally forgot, Lucia, now being 16, can in fact marry, so we're gonna go ahead and look for a suitable partner. We of course want somebody healthy for Lucia. Well, after much deliberation and much searching for potential partners for Lucia, we've narrowed it down to essentially men who are both fertile and healthy. We've been able to limit it down to where we're only going to marry her off to somebody who's Christian, who at least, you know, kind of more or less celebrates the same faith as us. Someone who has positive inheritable traits that we can sort of inherit as we have children. Someone who will cause Lucia to gain prestige when she gets married to them. Someone who isn't lowborn and has pressed claims on land. Now, all of these things are important for very kind of different reasons. One of the main things I wanted to focus on was this prestige gain here, because again, Drognath I is not going to be around for much longer, and we're not declaring war at this point. So forming alliances with people at this point really doesn't matter, although, as you'll see in a second, the partner we have chosen will result in an alliance, but it just isn't really something we're totally focused on right now. Really what we're hoping for is setting our children up with a good, you know, kind of fruitful future. The person we're going with right here is this 12-year-old boy of Bavarian descent, Amalric Welfen, who is the son of this gentleman, Count Hugo of Auxerre. If we double click on Count Hugo, we can see that Count Hugo is, of course, a count, if you can see over here in this little area of the map here, a count that controls several little chunks of land in France to our southeast. And Count Hugo, well, he doesn't have a very strong military, but again, it's not really the reason we're marrying here. Children between Lucia and Amalric will result in them being hale, which is very good. As you can see, you get prowess +2, a small boost to health, and +5 attraction opinion. Just makes your kids kind of, you know, hale and hardy, as the name might imply. But Amalric is Count Hugo's son. Once again, he's 12 years old, and so what we did is we checked off matrilineal marriage, which means that Lucia, any children born as a result of this partnership, will be a part of House Drognath. Or sorry, House Mordecius. Lucia gains 100 prestige. Amalric also gains 200 prestige from marrying into our family, and we become entangled in an alliance with House Welfen. But I'm not too worried about it right now. We're going to send the proposal. Lucia, you have been married off. I think, all things considered, not the worst person you could be married to. Count Hugo looks kind of cool. We'll see what becomes of that. Our alliance has been formed with Count Hugo. Count Hugo accepts our proposal for our daughter Lucia to be betrothed to his son Amalric. Very, very good. The relations between our two houses improved. Can imagine, once again, Drognath not all too concerned with who's getting married and when the wedding is and all that good stuff, given his condition, but I imagine that he would be happy for the young couple. We have some people marching through our lands here. First Raiders of Durham and the First Army of Mayo. We'll leave them be for the time being. It's not like we can do much, but always good to be aware of who's sending troops through our borders. Home again. I am informed by the guard that my daughter Lucia approaches Desmond after many years away in Alba. She is older, but I recognize her at once. We embrace at the gates. You must tell me everything, my daughter. Was it terrible? There's so much to catch up on. Lucia is no longer a hostage. Very good. So, I see that we can demand a payment from our vassal Lord Finn. and it would gain us 42 gold. Considering we don't have a lot of time to exercise our use of that hook, I'm going to demand the payment from him. And with that gold, I think we should be around the amount that we would need to start hunting this boar. We'll be hunting in the hold of Kilmallock. There's a high chance of danger in one location. Is that Kilmallock itself? Oh, I'm starting to think that maybe I can't do this hunt at all. Like, I think because I have consumption, I just literally can't go on the hunt at all. That really bums me out. What was this all for? If we can't allow a dying, sick old man to go for a hunt at the end of his life, I mean, what does he even have left to live for? I guess he does have a child on the way, there is that. And we do now have enough gold to create another title, though at this point that would probably just be another title that would be going to our son Congalok, which is not what we want. Damn it, man, that really sucks. Drognath, I was hoping that I could get you out there to try to hunt down that elusive boar before the end of your life, but I really don't think that that's going to be possible. Well, since we're not going to be spending any gold on the hunt that I thought that we were going to go on, I mean, usually the tactic is to save up as much gold as you can to hand down to your kids. I think one of Drognath's last sort of things he wants to do before he ends his time here on Earth is construct some gathering halls. These basically just make it easier for people to hold feasts in the holdings in which they're constructed. And I think it's a parting gift for Drognath to his family. You know, anytime they hold a feast in Tralee, in their capital, gathering in the gathering halls, they'll drink to his memory. So we're gonna construct these longhouses. It'll take 5 years to build them, 190 prestige and 71 gold. Let's do it. You know, we always said at some point we're gonna start building out our lands and making sure Tralee and Desmond are, or what used to be called Mordecius, will be built out nice and holdings and whatnot. We never really got around to it. So here at the end of his life, I think it's only fitting that he lives up to that promise of kind of developing his lands a bit. My daughter, with a tired yet blissful smile, Sierra presents me with a perfect little daughter. Will you become my child, and what shall I call you? I kind of like this one. It's when clicking the good Irish name generator, we came up with Adamare. I think that's pretty. Let's go with that. Adamare, who shall be your guardian? Looks like Ser Laith will have the duty being Adamare's guardian. Send the proposal. Lord Flancinna was swayed. He's still at a -12, so we're going to keep that scheme going and hopefully up his opinion of us a little bit before we pass. Now, if you're a newer player of this game, or you haven't played quite as much as I have or other players, you might be wondering kind of why I'm sort of doing all this prep work, for the little of it that I am, and kind of preparing so much for the death of this character. I mean, the reality is, like, this is what the game's all about. You kind of live or die by the intensity with which you can prepare your lands and your court for the transition between one character and another. We have gotten very fortunate, or it's kind of a toss-up of its strategy or luck, but like we have been very fortunate in that we have been handed a fairly good heir in the form of Drognath II, and that our family structure is such that we have been able to largely isolate the lands that we control in his hands. In subsequent transitions and in transfers of power, it could get a lot more hectic, but you have to kind of carefully plan and make sure that the transfer goes smoothly, or else you could end up with a 3-year-old on the throne and every person underneath him doesn't want him there and ends up either killing him or deposing him, and then suddenly the kingdom that you've spent all this time kind of building up just crumbles apart. It happens more often than you would think, and honestly, it's when a lot of people would end up rage quitting. I certainly have at some points, but at a certain point, I think the game is all about just trying to... Oh, wow! Oh my god, I can't believe this happened as I was talking about this. We lost the consumption trait. Consumption, a second chance. I grew gaunt and coughed and bled. I thought I would waste away to nothing. It certainly felt that way when I could barely climb out of bed. Yet my health and strength recovered, if ever so slowly. Finally, I am ready to face the world and all its challenges. Time to conquer the world. Literally, Drognath. He knows. He knows that that's been our goal the entire time. You lose the trait consumption. Holy crap, that is amazing. I don't think that has ever happened to me in the entire course of that I've played this game. We're fine now. We're feeling fine. We're literally completely healthy. That is fucking crazy. Excuse my language. I don't know that I've ever had a character completely 100% recover, like become healthy again after contracting consumption. That is crazy. Look at him. He's back to his old bald ass self. That is amazing. That is really, truly amazing. And it's so crazy that that happened like while we were discussing kind of the need for this period of sort of relative stability. And well, here on the 1st of October, I think it's time that time of stability came to an end. It might be time to declare war. Now that Drognath is feeling like his old self again, and as much as tempting as it is to go after the King of Alba, we do have a fairly good chance of beating him. Don't think the time is right for that just quite yet. I think the move here is declaring war on our boy Prince Peter of Owen of Deheubarth. It costs 140 prestige, and we can take this principality from him, the Principality of Deheubarth. Go ahead and go to our military tab, take our rally point, and move it over here. Move it right here into Ceredigion. And this young baby of 6 is currently a prisoner, and he has barely any military. And for that reason, we will conquer the duchy, the Principality of Deheubarth. Declare war. You know what they say, become healthy after a long bout of consumption. It just puts you in the mood to perform a siege. We're gonna have Lord Finn. Actually, you know what? No, we're not sending out Lord Finn. You know who we're sending out? Drognath the First. Drognath, it's time to put on your armor and grab your blade and get out on the field. It's less strategically sound to do that. But I think that he's got a new lease on life, right? I mean, this is an RPG after all, or at least half an RPG. If Drognath is feeling well enough to get out of bed and start moving around, then he's well enough to do battle. Charge, Drognath, charge! Probably go ahead and call our allies to battle. We'll call High Chieftain Brandub, who now has a little goatee now that he's 18 years old. Wow, what a man. Let's call him to war. We could call Count Hugo, though he's quite far away. You know what, just to be safe, we're going to call him. I don't want to get kind of caught off guard here and end up on my back foot. Ooh, Petty King Dumnarth II has joined the war on the enemy's side. And he is the Petty King of Cornwall, which is this area sort of down to the south of Deheubarth, where we're trying to take over. That's not great. But, well, it is what it is now. No backing out now. We're sending our 3,100 troops down to the capital. We're actually going to split this army in half for the time being to try to kind of form a pincer maneuver. So this half of the army with me in charge is going to head to the capital. This half of the army is going to head down to this barony here with Finn in charge. We'll see what we do. We'll see how this all shakes out. Brandub, of course, joins the war because he's our best bud. Well, not our best bud, but definitely close. He's pulled our ass out of a few jams. And Count Hugo, our new bud, joins the effort. Thank you, Count Hugo. You'll have to recommend me your optometrist for those cool glasses you got there, bud. So we're beginning the siege here. We have 2 sieges going here. We're going to keep an eye out to make sure that no giant armies come and swoop down on us. There is one army, the first army of Morganwig, moving south from us, but it's only about 700 troops, and they're kind of moving away at this point, so we're hopefully good on that front. It's also a battle happening up here in the Battle of Oriel. Several armies kind of going at it. Leinster and Mon doing battle on our land. You guys better not break anything while you're over there, bastards. And it does look as though the first army of Buchan from our boy Brandub is making their way down. They will be heading into the sea and then heading south to come assist us in this endeavor. And the first army of Morganwig appears to be sailing west to our land. Oh, and the second army of Devon is actually joining up with them, and they're making a kind of joint assault. And actually now they're heading up north through the Irish Sea to possibly come in behind us. Kind of wondering what the heck the strategy is here, but we're going to continue the siege until we know for sure what exactly is going on. We have a stewardship perk available. Let's take a look here. We're going to take this one, professional workforce. It gives us minus 30% building and holding construction times. Since we are building something right now, I think that's good. It also works our way down that architect tree that we're looking to get. And Eleonora comes of age. I'm proud to see my daughter no longer as a child, but as an adult, always the clever child, Eleonora, proved time and time again over the course of her studies that she had a natural affinity for careful planning and more than a little misdirection. She now knows a lot of ways to get what she wants. Most importantly, she is highly aware of the political implications of those wants. Eleonora is no longer Lord Shamaria's ward. Good, because he's a douche. Eleonora gains the trait Intricate Webweaver. They grow up fast. So our house relations with House Aberfraw improved. Very good. And High Chieftain Brandub and Eleonora can now get married. Of course, we will allow this to take place. So our relations also improved with House Aelpin. Very, very good. So it looks like this joint strike force of the first army of Morganwig and the second army of Devon are kind of making their way up to our lands up here to the north. We're gonna see how that shakes out. Yeah, Inismon is now under siege, so they're attacking up here. We do have this army coming from the north. Our boy Brandub is coming. We'll see whereabouts he lands, because we might want to send one of our armies north to deal with these pesky attackers in Inismon, but we'll see here in a bit. We'll have a better, I think we'll have a clearer picture of what we want to do once they make landfall over here. We became malnourished. How did that happen? We're just not eating enough? Uh-oh. Maybe it was a bad idea to send High Chieftain Drognath out there into battle once more. Malnourished. This character suffers from weakness, lack of energy, and a low mood. That's not great. Well, he was always a grumpy bastard, wasn't he? Well, as Chieftain Drognath continues the siege and our allies, the First Army of Buchan, begin making their way south through the Irish Sea, and we become malnourished, we will have to find out what happens next time, because we have reached the 31st of December, 894. Thank you all so much for watching. Please make sure to like the video and make sure to comment. Let me know what you think of Crusader Kings 3 and the House of Mordecius, and make sure to subscribe so that you get notified every time I upload a new video. Check out the Twitch, check out the TikTok, check out the Blue Sky, and I will see you all next time.